Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming, let me push myself back a bit so you can see me a bit more. Today I'm filming a eating disorder recovery Q&A because I've got loads of questions recently all about my recovery and all bits about that. So I just went to Costa and I've got this reusable Costa cup. I got them to fill it up. I've got a hot choc. Delish, and now I've just driven around the corner and I'm going to do it in my car. Can't lie, I thought I'd be able to get better lighting and a better angle, but my car is so rubbish that I actually can't. So this is going to have to do, you're going to have to deal with it and I'm going to have to deal with it. Bit annoying, but you know, can't have them all, can we? If you don't already know, I have a recovery Instagram account and I put on like a story ages ago saying ask me questions if there's anything you want to know, and I got loads, so I'm gonna find where I put that up here, and there's quite a lot. The majority of questions are about recovery, so I'm gonna do a recovery one, and then in a couple of weeks I'm gonna film just a general normal Q&A. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first question is, when did you first realise you had a problem with eating? My mum was actually, by the way, I've got loads of these videos already up, so if I like re-answer the same question, I'm really sorry about that. My mum was the person to notice. Obviously aren't like mums, or isn't that always the case. She basically told me, we went on holiday to Greece and she was basically like, oh, I just think you need to see someone about it, blah blah blah. She kind of, at the time I think I was 16, so like I was still a baby, like I was still young, so it was kind of at that time like my mum was in charge, like what she said went, not in the way that she was like, you've got an eating disorder. She more was like, I think you've got a problem, blah blah blah. Obviously at the time, well, to be fair, at the time I wasn't that, I don't want to say that ill because I feel like everyone's ill is completely different, but at the time I was not as ill as I was when I eventually did get to CAMHS. I was definitely struggling, but if I seriously think if I would have got intervention straight away, I would never in a million years have been sat here today talking about how bad I actually got, because it took so long to get seen by the doctors. I just got so much worse than I was, and it sent me so ill, and it's scary and sad really. But yeah, it was my mum who realised. It was in September of 2020, just after lockdown. I'd just come back from holiday and I wasn't like, looking back, I was in quite a good place then compared to what I've been in, but I definitely wasn't normal and I didn't have normal ways of going around food and eating and things like that. The next one is, what are you struggling with most at the moment? It's hard because I'm in a really good place with food. I still, I want to be as open as possible, obviously. There's still lots of things I struggle with. For example, my weight and stuff like that. I don't weigh myself, but like body's changed. Like 2 days ago, I have a dairy intolerance. I don't like to admit it, but I do. Well, anyway, like milk and yogurts just make my stomach bad. And I had the other day like 2 yogurts in one day, and oh my god, my stomach was, I was literally in agony. I was so bloated and I literally cried because of how my body looked. But then the next day the bloating had gone down and I felt completely better. So it just goes to show, for a start, that our bodies literally change daily. But as well as that, it also goes to show that like you can struggle about different things on different days. I felt shit 2 days ago because I hated my body. It was never gonna look like how it used to look, and today I'm embracing it, and my body's not meant to look how it looked 3 years ago anyway. So it's tough. That's probably one of the main things I struggle with. I'm obviously talking about struggles with regards to eating. I don't really, sometimes I struggle with food, like some days I still struggle when challenging myself, things like that. The other day though, I had crisps with my meal deal, which is a big challenge because I still struggle with that. And I also had a bowl of cereal, which is also a big challenge for me. So it's just taking the little challenges day by day, but some days are a lot tougher than others. But I'm in a really good place with my mind, with food and my body at the moment anyway. I don't want to say I'm fully recovered because I'm definitely not, but I'm definitely getting there to being fully recovered. There's probably more things as well that I still struggle with, but it's hard to think. The other one I liked, because I can sort of link it to how's recovery going, was what do you have any other experiences with any other mental health problems apart from just your eating disorder? So I struggled before I had an eating disorder. I had never in my life experienced a bad mental health day, feeling, anything. I was the happiest little thing ever. I swam through life, loved life. We went into lockdown and that changed massively. Actually, I lie, but towards the end of year 11 I used to feel butterflies in my stomach every single morning before going into school, but really badly. So I don't like to say I had depression or anxiety or anything like that, but I had very anxious moments leading up to when we went into lockdown, which I think is, I was 15, 16, is probably a bit normal. I still feel that sometimes. I can get really anxious. Change scares me sometimes, and I don't want to say I'm depressed, but I definitely have had depressive episodes in the past. Some days where I literally can't get out of bed, and that was all from my eating disorder. Before that I was never, like, I didn't have any problems, but then since having an eating disorder I definitely struggle with different things. Like, I don't want to say I have anxiety and I don't want to say I have depression, because I definitely don't, but my emotions and feelings are definitely a lot different to how they were before. I've never been diagnosed with any other illnesses, and I'm absolutely not saying, oh my god, I had this, I had that. I'm not doing that, because it's not true. But having an eating disorder definitely comes with lots of other things. It's not like a plain sailing ride. What was your main motivation to start recovery? I can't lie to you. So I went to CAMHS 7 months after I'd been put on the list, because I went back to the doctors because my mum was like, she needs to be seen, and then good job I did get seen, because I was extremely unwell. But when I eventually did get seen, I didn't want anything to do with recovery, eating, gaining weight, or anything like that. I was literally the furthest point away from wanting that to happen. Bit my mouth. Yeah, I just was not in a good mindset. I feel like a lot of people are like that when they first go to the hospital to see people about their problems. But after a couple of weeks of being forced to do a meal plan daily, it kind of, my brain clicked. I feel like it needed food. My brain was so deprived of food. If it didn't needed the food to start rewiring and re-remembering, actually I could have a life if I got a grip and started eating properly. Don't get me wrong, it's not as easy as that, obviously, but I think my main, for me, like, there's one thing I 100% want to be in the world, and that's be able to do in the world, and that's have children and be a mum. Yeah, so I 100% know I want to be a mum, and I didn't have my period for nearly a long time, and you can't be a mum if you don't have a period. Like, well, if you don't have a period for the reasons I didn't have my period, you can't be a mum. Well, I could be, but, and as well, like, the state I was in, like, obviously I'm not gonna have children anytime soon, but I could never have had children when I was that ill. And I always used to think, like, in 10 years time, if I'm still fighting this battle of being so underweight and being so consumed by this eating disorder, I'm going to be one unhappy girl. Like, there's not going to be one thing that's happy about me. I was making no memories. I had hardly any, I had friends, but not really. I was lonely. I was sad, a sad little bean who used to stay at home every day crying their eyes out. I did nothing. I literally only saw my mum, dad and sisters and my close family. And I just one day was like, I can't do this anymore. Don't get me wrong, I had a relapse and things happen in between, but deep down I just knew, like, I cannot live my life like this anymore. So my family are obviously a big motivation, and also myself. Like, I want a life. I want to be able to, before my eating disorder, I lived my best life all the time, and I want to be able to do that constantly. I don't want to be controlled by, like, a voice in my head. So that were my main motivations. The next one is current food fixation. I reckon the food I'm most obsessed with at the moment is, oh, I don't know. Love a burger bowl with rice. That's really nice. But I don't really know what else. I'm loving everything at the moment. I love a bit of everything. I'm definitely a sweet girl over a savoury girl. But food is life. Like, it is friggin' amazing, and like recovery has given me so many different foodie sort of things, and it's just 10 out of 10. And the last question is, what was your process like with CAMHS and treatment? Did you have to go through inpatient or did you recover at home? I was lucky enough to be able to recover at home, but I was very close to having to go into hospital, which was not good. But thankfully, my mum and dad literally saved me by forcing me to do that meal plan when I didn't want to. And then eventually, obviously, my mindset changed and I decided actually I should probably get a grip and do what I need to do. It was a tough journey. It's a tough ride, and it breaks my heart knowing there's other people out there having to go through it. But I promise you, the more you power through, the more you'll get out of it, and the more it's the same. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And I promise you, with my entire heart, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and things do get better. I think so many people think this is never going to get better. This is my life forever. It's absolutely not. My recovery days were horrendous. They were hard, but it is the most worth it thing I have ever done. It is the hardest thing I think me and my family will ever have to do and go through, but it's 100% worth it, and you've just got to power through, really. It's tough, but you've got to power through. And CAMHS I've spoken about in my other videos, so go over there and so you can find out what I think about CAMHS. I think it helps some people, it doesn't help other people so much, but they just want to do a good job, I suppose. Okay, that is going to be the end of it. Why can't I speak? That is going to be the end of the video. I tried to answer as many questions as I could, but obviously my camera died. If my camera wouldn't have died, I knew that was going to happen. I would have answered many more. Go over and follow me on my recovery Instagram, and if you have any questions, then I'll leave a question box on my story in the next few days, or just DM me, ask me a question, and I will try my best to film another part of this video, because I love filming these type of videos because I know that it helps so many people. Sending you all so much love always and every day, and yeah, remember to keep fighting. It does get better, and I promise you it is worth it. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.